racism is a concept constructed by white people. So it doesn't make sense. Like, racism it's a concept that didn't exist until it was created by, like, Eurocentric beliefs.
Who told you that?
Yo, like, I'm just not sure. Did you go to, like, have formal education?
When times get tough, you need to get proud. No need to look backward, put your feet on the ground. Stand up, stand up.
Welcome to TheFallenState. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Don't forget, TheFallenState is on Patreon, so click the little Patreon link there in the description to support our work. I'm talking to a rapper today, a rapper that graduated from USC 2020. I have with me Kabwasa. What is it?
Kabwasa.
Kabwasa.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that name? What does that mean?
That's my middle name. It's my mom's maiden name.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, my name's Etienne Kabwasa Green. I chose Kabwasa because my grandpa's from the Congo. So I was trying to
it sounds kind of African.
Yeah, yeah, that's African.
Kabwasa.
Yeah.
And you're a hip-hop artist and activist and a 2020 graduate of USC. Amazing. What did you graduate in? I mean, your degree?
Visual anthropology and a minor in communication and design.
Really?
Yeah.
And so how did you get in USC?
How'd I get into USC?
Did you get there by affirmative action?
Nah, I had a 4.3 GPA.
You did?
In high school, yeah.
Well, you smart.
I mean, I guess.
So do you wish that they would get rid of affirmative action? Because if a black is smart and they get into these schools, it's always in my mind and everybody's mind they're only there because of affirmative action. Did you know that?
That's in your mind?
Yeah.
It's not in my mind.
But you know it's in most people's mind, right?
I mean, I feel like if that's in your mind, then, like, that's going to be in your mind regardless. Because, like, I mean, you automatically thought I got in from affirmative action, so I had to let you know that I had a 4.0. But even if, or 4.3, and even if, like, I didn't have that, it doesn't matter either way, you're thinking it's affirmative action.
Right.
So.
Do you think that they should get rid of affirmative action because of that stigma?
No.
But wouldn't you rather know that you got in there because you had a 4.3 and you can do it, rather than having that in your way that you got in only because you're black? Is your phone turned off?
Yeah, no, it's off.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I know I got in because I had a 4.0 or 4.3 in high school. So it don't really matter what people think I got in for if I know why I got in.
Oh,
right?
yeah. It doesn't?
No, yeah.
So you grew up in Washingtonville. That's near, where's that?
It's near Santa Cruz, like 10 minutes from Santa Cruz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And did you grow up with both parents?
Yeah.
And were they black or white?
Black.
Your father and mother are black?
Yes.
So you look half white.
My grandma's white.
Your grandmother's white?
Yeah.
All the way white?
Yeah, like Irish.
So your mother's what?
Half Congolese, half Irish. She's mixed.
That's why you look half white, half black.
Yeah.
And I read in school that the kids teach you about that? That
About
you were too light or something like that?
No. Well, I mean, I grew up in a place where I was like the only black kid at my school. So basically people didn't like see black people outside of like, I don't know, like magazines, like TV shows, like where they do stereotypical black people. So if they, like, I come up to them and I'm not like this stereotypical black person that they think they're supposed to see, and I'm the only like actual black person they met.
Yeah.
So they like confused because they think I'm supposed to be acting like that, but really not all black people act like that. So that's what that was about. Like.
So they would tell you that you're not black enough?
Yeah, or like think that I don't act the way a black person's supposed to be acting, but there's no like.
Well, you don't act like a normal black person. You act intelligent.
I think black people are intelligent in general. I don't think there's a normal like. I don't think it's a general standard that black people are unintelligent, right? Are you intelligent? Like.
Don't tell anyone.
No, but yeah, I think like there's like intelligent and unintelligent people of every ethnicity. So to think all black people are supposed to act unintelligent is just kind of like like a little bit of a racist stereotype. So
But you do realize since your mother's half white, you lived in a white community,
Mexican community.
Mexican community, you do seem normal for a black person, right? You do realize that, right?
Normal, like,
Intelligent, well-spoken, you're not radical.
I'm not radical. What is radical?
You know how black people are angry, out of control. So you do know that you're a little different than the rest of them, right?
I mean, angry, out of control.
Yeah.
Like,
you want to be like them?
I mean, I want to be like me.
Yeah.
So I'm just how I am. But I mean, I definitely wouldn't say that, like, I think black people are unintelligent for being angry or radical, because I think most black people deserve to be angry in
Oh,
the
you
state
do?
of America right now. Yeah.
Amazing. I want to get into that in a minute. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So were you impacted in high school when they were, say you're not like the average black person?
Yeah, well, just like in general, like high school, middle school, growing up, yeah, it was a little, but I think it's just because they didn't know black people. They just knew me, and they knew like social media and stuff. So they never met enough black people to know that not all black people act a certain way. Because if they met me and saw how I acted, and then met you, and you're a different person, and neither one of us are like this, like a stereotypical black person.
Right.
The more black people they meet, the more they realize there is no one way a black person is supposed to act.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So how were you traumatized? How did that impact you when they were treating you that way?
I think generally, like when I did get to college, I thought I believed that I wasn't like black enough, or I didn't act how black people were supposed to act. So I was like probably nervous to like be around black people, because I thought I wasn't like acting the way black people are supposed to act.
Yeah.
But once I did get around more black people, I realized that like, yeah, there is no, like everybody's different, you know, from person to person. So like for the most part, when I was around black people, they accepted me for how I was. I accept them for how they were, and we're just people.
And so you're not afraid of them anymore?
I was never afraid of black people, but I'm more like, I'm comfortable with who I am, and I know that other people are comfortable with who I am, so I can just be myself.
Have you ever dated a black girl?
Is that, I mean, I didn't grow up around black people, so I dated like Hispanic.
Habla
Russian.
español.
No, I don't speak Spanish.
So you dated Hispanic girls
Mm,
and white girls?
yeah,
Oh, okay, but no black girl.
I haven't dated a black girl.
No wonder you're so happy.
You don't like black women?
Oh, yeah, but they're rough.
I think black women are really important.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So let me ask, what is a man?
What is a man?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What is a man?
What is a man? I mean, I don't know, somebody who identifies as male, like, they're a man.
So what now?
Somebody who identifies as male, that's a man.
That's a man?
Yeah.
And should a man ever follow a woman?
Follow? Like, on foot?
Like listen to her and follow what she says?
I mean, if she's saying something that's worth listening to.
But are men over women or women over men?
I don't think either one should be over anyone, right? Isn't
Would
that
you-
like equality?
Are you a Christian?
No,
What are you?
I'm just a spiritual being.
You a what?
I'm just a spiritual being.
What does that mean?
It means I believe in spirituality and like a higher power, but I'm not connected to a religion.
So you're not a Christian?
No.
And how do you know you're a spiritual being?
I believe that there's things more to life than we as humans understand, like the power of the universe and the power of like energies and like positive affirmations and things like that. But I don't necessarily, I think to each his own. So if like you get comfort from Christianity and that makes you believe, like it helps you get through life and gives you some understanding and peace about what life is, then I think by all means, like that's what you should believe. And then like if you're Buddhist or Hindu or anything else, you
How
know.
about Satan?
Satanist? I mean, I'm personally not Satanist. I think Satan is linked to Christianity, so.
No. Do you think that people should be all right with Satan's belief as well?
I mean, I think it's just to each his own. So like, I'm not a Satanist, and I wouldn't want to mess with that. And so, but like,
That's right.
if that's what somebody does, then like, I'm gonna just let them do them. But I probably won't.
You won't
mess
have
with-
lunch with them.
Maybe not. Satan, that's just like a little. I don't know. I don't know much about it, so I can't really
Yeah.
say. Like, I never.
And so
Googled
you
much
said
into
that you are a spiritual being. You got this energy. You believe in the earth, and
it. Yeah, I believe in the earth.
and you got this energy thing. Do you believe in God?
God as in a higher power, or God as in like this super large white dude with a beard?
God as in God.
I mean, I think God is whatever you make it out to be. For me, I think the higher power is, I have like this super intricate idea of how the way like the universe and like spirituality and everything works. But I think if you're a Christian and God is your idea of the higher power, then like God exists for you. And if you're not Christian and you think it's like Allah or whoever else, then like that exists for you.
So do you believe in God or just the energy in the earth?
I believe in a higher power that is the universe, like within
So is that higher
yourselves.
power God or energy?
I mean, it's God if that is what you want to
I
call
mean
it.
for you.
Sure. I mean, I don't call it God. I just call it.
Is it a he or it?
How could it be a he?
Is it a he or it is a question.
I think it's whatever you want it to be. I don't necessarily say it's a he, because to think that like this higher power that created everything is confined to like what we understand as humans, then that just seems kind of small. Like, you really think
Where did you get that from?
what?
Who told you that?
Told me
That it's not a he, it's a it. To think that is a he is wrong.
I mean, I think just if you think about it like holistically, like we as humans have he's and she's, and like him and her,
And
but like,
it's and no identity now.
okay, yeah, and like that's just this planet, and then there's like hundreds of other planets and thousands of other galaxies and like infinite universe, and God, this God person, controls the entire universe, right? And you think that it's a dude that like similar to us, like that seems kind of like closed-minded, you know? Like, I don't think that this giant entity that controls everything is gonna necessarily be a dude, like a human,
A dude.
or a human.
Oh,
a he.
okay. So you
Like-
said that is it a white guy with a beard? Do you believe he's a black guy with a beard?
I don't think it's a guy with a beard. Like, I don't personally believe God as being like a person or like a single thing. I think that like this higher power or this like creator is, I guess if I'm gonna like get into it, like I'll just tell you my like philosophy is that like each person controls their own universe. So I'm in my universe. and
Where
this-
is it?
Yeah, this is my, like I'm in my universe from my perspective. You're in your
Can
universe.
I see it?
You're in it.
Can I see yours?
You're in mine.
And I don't know it.
Yeah, but because you're in yours. Like, I'm in yours, you're in mine.
But I didn't tell you to come into mine.
I'm here, though.
Oh.
They contacted me.
Oh, you mean universe
brought me
like
into-
my
yeah.
location?
Yeah, I wasn't in, like, your reality until I arrived here, and you weren't in
Oh.
mine. So, like, I think everybody has their own universe and their own reality, and, like, you're the one, you control that. So, like, in a sense, like, each universe is their own universe, and, like, the person controlling that or the thing controlling that is yourself. So, like,
And what do
you're
you
your
control?
you control your existence.
I mean you. What do you control?
I control my existence
And how do you control it?
through like my beliefs, my energy, and like putting in positive affirmations, negative affirmations, and just kind of like accepting my existence.
Give
as
me
what
an
it is.
example of a positive what?
Affirmation.
Affirmation.
So like, if it was for you, a positive affirmation would be saying that 2 years from now, this show is going to be the biggest show
I accept it.
in the world. Yeah.
Okay.
So like that's a positive affirmation, and you work towards it, and you know, the like positive energy you put into the universe is what you get back. But if you sit here and say like, man, my show is trash, like it's never going anywhere, then like it probably won't.
So are your parents Christian or are they like that?
My dad is more like Christian than I am, in that he grew up Christian, but he does not necessarily, like, he never like pushed it on us to believe like specific things that are like in the Bible or things like that, because like spirituality should be like what makes you feel comfortable and what you believe in. So yeah.
Before you went to USC, were you an angry black guy?
Angry
Yeah.
black guy?
Yeah. Were
I
you
mean-
angry?
I mean, I think emotions just come as they come. So like, I wasn't like perpetually angry, but like when something happened to make me upset, then yeah.
Right. Who you grew up, your father and mother are together, right?
Yes,
And who you grew up closer to, your father or your mother?
both.
To both? You were equally close to both?
Mm-hmm.
And so did you grow up thinking that because you were black, the world was against you, white people try to hold you back?
I think that there's like a lot of systematic oppression towards black people.
But when you grew up, were you thinking that way? While growing up in where you grew up,
Watsonville.
yeah, were you growing up thinking that?
I think based on like your experiences, you like observe and learn about like your existence and how like you're treated in America and things like that.
No, but
So-
what I'm trying to find out, why you were growing up north, you were getting a good education, you had both parents in the home, you had your little Mexican friends. Did you think, did you think that you were black and the white people were oppressing you?
From my experiences, I wouldn't say all white people, but I would say that this country is systematically.
No, I'm trying to find
against
out why you were growing up, were you thinking that way? I'm gonna get to how you think now, but why you were growing up, were you growing up thinking that, oh, white people are oppressing me, I can't get an education, I can't get food?
I don't think,
Were you growing up thinking that?
no. I mean, when you're a little kid, those things aren't in your mind, and they shouldn't really be, because those are like adult like
Right.
problems.
And
So
how about
like,
when you got in high school, did you start thinking that way?
I didn't start thinking that way until I started experiencing those things.
And where were you, down here in LA or up there?
I feel like you experience those things from a real young age as a black person. Like, when was the first time somebody said something racist to you?
I never. It's been a year, I was a baby.
You were
Teenager,
a baby? A teenager. So yeah, so when you're a teenager, you experience your first racial encounter.
So what happened to you? When did you experience one? An encounter?
One?
Racist encounter?
Plenty. I mean, that's like almost inevitable.
So
as a
while
black person.
growing up, you experienced it.
Yeah.
Tell me about your first one.
I mean, I don't know if I can give you my first one. There's been a lot, but there was one time when me and my brother were really little, probably about, I might have been like 8 and my brother was 10, and we tried to go to, it was in Temecula where my grandma lived. There's a lot of white people, and we tried to go to this little like amusement park type thing, and there was like a ride, and me and my brother went to go on the ride, and the people at the thing said we were too big when like we weren't. I was 8 and he was 10, we were small. And then a group of like teenage white kids got on the ride. And then when we went to go ride the go-karts, there was a bunch of white kids like swerving and trying to get us out. And one of them called my brother the N-word. So like, and I was 8. So like, you experience these things like throughout life as a black person. And those are the things that like make you realize that there's like unwarranted hate towards black people.
So did you grow up thinking, oh, I'm experiencing racism right now? While growing up, were you thinking that?
No, I don't think you understand it.
When did
It's
you start
confusing.
thinking that it was racism?
I think you recognize it once you learn more about like
I'm
society.
trying to find out, when did you start thinking that way?
Probably like, I don't know, 5th grade, 6th grade, like
You start-
middle school.
At that time, you started thinking, I'm a racist. I'm experiencing racism.
I mean, yeah, when I experienced it, I started recognizing it for what it was. I think I was always experiencing racism. I just didn't know what it was at the time. And I think neither do most kids. Like, you start learning about racism and the power that it holds in around like middle school, when you start being able to like gather your own thoughts and understand things for yourself.
So has racism racism held you back?
Race? Why did you put the air quotes?
Has racism held you back? You
No.
just graduated from USC, and you finished high school. You have 2 parents in the home. They fed you. They took care of you. Has racism held you back at all?
We haven't let it hold me back.
Has it held you back?
No, because I didn't let it.
And what did you do to avoid it holding you back?
Spoke up and didn't let it kind of affect my existence. So, like, if somebody tried to stop me or let's say, like, for example, like, I'm black and there's only, like, I think 2 or 3% black people at USC. And then probably like 40% white people, which shows right there that there's a serious, like, disadvantage for black people.
In what way?
Because there's only 3% black people admitted into the school.
But that didn't stop you from graduating.
Yeah, because I worked extra hard to get there versus, like, white people don't necessarily have to work as hard, obviously.
How do you know that?
Because there's like a entire system built around white success and white supremacy.
But how do you know that white people don't work hard to get
No,
what
I'm
they
not
have?
saying white people don't work hard to get to where
As
they
you
are.
do, how do you know white people don't have to work as hard as you do to get the best grades, to get into the best schools, to get the best degree? How do you know they don't work as hard to get that?
I'm not saying all white people don't work as hard, but I'm saying, like, I think, like, systematically there's, like, advantages in white communities. Like, there's better education, better schools for these white communities, and it makes it kind of like the whole, like, education system and, like, success is more accessible for white people. Not saying that they don't have to work hard to get to where they are,
Yeah.
but it's far more accessible. For some black people in black communities, like, they don't even know that USC exists because it's not shown in their schools. It's not like, you know, so that's what makes it different.
If black people most white kids have 2 parents in the home, right? A father and a mother, right?
How do you know that?
I'm asking you.
I don't know. Do you know that?
That tend to be the norm where they have both parents in the home, right?
Is that a stereotypical
If black people
understanding?
had 2 parents in the home, because 70% of black babies born out of wedlock, if they had a father and a mother in the home, do you think that their opportunity would be better? They have a better chance, or would it be harder?
Do you know what percentage of white babies are born out of wedlock?
30%.
Did you just make that up?
No.
How
It
did
may
you-
be even less than that, but I think the last report I saw was 30. So I'm asking you, if black people had 2 parents in the home, would their kids have better opportunity in their own communities and elsewhere?
I think not just black people, but any type of people
But how
having
about the blacks?
2 parents in the home is a positive influence on a kid. Yes,
Right.
2
So
parents
would it
that
be
are
best to
helpful.
have 1 parent or 2?
It's always best to have 2, but that's not just for black people. It's for anyone.
Right, but if the blacks did that, do you think they would have a better chance?
I'm telling you, if anyone did that, they'll have a better chance at success.
Right, but I'm asking about the blacks.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And you said that black people have to work harder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to work harder than the white kids?
I worked hard for myself.
But
I'm
did you have to do that, or you did it because that's what you were taught?
I did it because I wanted to be successful. And I
Right,
wanted
but the
to
white
reach
people
my
didn't say you had to
goals.
do that, right?
White people don't tell me what to do.
Right. So where does this idea come from that black people have to work harder than the whites?
It's not an idea, it's like a reality.
And
For
where-
example, my school, I'm talking like black and brown people, so Hispanic people have difficulties as well. Basically, for my school, I grew up in this small town of Watsonville, you know, like a public school, and there's like a percentage of the kids were like homeless and like disadvantaged. People didn't, like a lot of first generation like students who are trying to get to college for the first time, they don't have like the advantage of having parents who have the money to pay for, you know, after school programs and tutors and things like that. Those are the disadvantages. And then like for like other schools, like
Whose fault is it that they were like that? Was it the parent fault or white people's fault?
What do you mean?
that they were homeless?
I don't think it's their fault. And there's a lot of
It's not their fault.
there's a lot of like you can't like name one reason for why people end up homeless, but like
But was it the white people's fault that those people were homeless, or the people who were homeless, their parents' fault?
I mean it depends on the situation.
But which most likely, the white people's fault or the parents' fault?
I don't think white people are like the way you're saying white people is like they're these all powerful people that are like controlling, like they like snap their finger and that person's homeless. Like I don't think it works like that. It's
But
like
that's what.
more of a systematic thing.
What do you mean by that?
So like for example, a kid grows up in like a disadvantaged community, and
What's
they don't
a
have
disadvantaged community?
like a community without proper education systems, without good schools and like
Whose
good.
fault is that? The
after
white
school
people or the
programs.
parents' fault?
How is it the parents' fault that the schools aren't good?
I'm asking whose fault is this? The white people's fault or the parents' fault?
I mean, it's
that
the
in their own community they don't have good schools.
It's
Whose
the
fault is it?
It's the fault of the society, like the capitalist society that doesn't put enough funds into public education. So it's not like white people's fault. It's like the fault of like the society as a whole. So like
What do
so
you mean by
basically-
that?
So basically I'm saying if a kid grows up in an area with like poor education and they're never told about college and never given the tools to succeed, and then they end up not being able to go to college and therefore they don't have a competitive edge to get a good job,
Who should be telling them about college?
the education system.
Not the parents.
I mean, if the parents are, what I'm telling you is like, it starts from like a base level. So if the parents grew up in a place where they weren't taught about college, then they're not going to know to teach their kid about it, and so on and so forth, until that cycle is broken. But I'm saying like, let's say a kid doesn't learn about college from the school that should teach them and give them the tools, which is why you go to school in the first place.
Who should teach them?
Like teachers and like the programs and stuff in the school, like they should give kids the tools to like make it to college. And then if they're not given those
So are you saying
tools,
that in the black neighborhood, the teachers should be teaching the kids about that?
they should be,
Are you saying that?
yeah.
And
You don't
so
think
why
teachers should-
is it that the black teachers are not teaching the black children that, hey, there's a big world out there?
Who said black teachers? I didn't say anything about black teachers.
Well, who's not teaching them that?
It's just not good schools. Like they don't have the programs and like the funds. They're not well funded. It's
And
not
why
just
not?
black, because it's not like just black teachers in specific. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of like brought black teachers in out of nowhere. Like it's black teachers' fault for not. They're like, I mean, I grew up in a community where it was just Hispanics, and all the teachers were white. So like, I wouldn't say that it's black teachers' faults, but like you have to like put extra effort to go out and like learn about those resources yourself, versus like at these like private schools and things like that like a lot of like upper class families can afford. They get those tools, and so there's like a disadvantage. You see what I'm saying?
But they should get them because they have two parents. They're working to get them, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right?
I mean, but so you think if a kid grows up with one parent, then they don't deserve to have the resources and stuff to know about college?
It's the parents' responsibility, that one parent, to make sure they find out that information, right?
Well, I mean, but if the parent, let's say the parent doesn't know about that, then you think the kid doesn't deserve to know either?
So are the parents dumb?
No.
Well, why would they know about it or look for it, research?
Maybe they just didn't have the opportunity to learn about it.
What? They had the opportunity to have a baby.
How does that correlate?
Let me ask, you believe racism exists?
Yes. Do you believe racism exists?
Define racism for me.
Do you believe racism exists?
I'll tell you in a minute. Once you define it.
Okay, racism is, so basically, like, I don't think we should separate racism from the other isms, right? So there's capitalism, which is like the idea that basically like powers are controlled based on like financial capital and stuff. And then there's like socialism, which is that the government should control capital and it
You
should go to
believe in
everyone.
socialism?
Okay, let me finish my first thing. And then there's like communism, which thinks everything should be equal, and then there's racism, which is like another ism that is based on maintaining a social structure based on the idea of race. So keeping certain people in power and keeping certain people out of power. So like that would be racism if you like.
Can you define it for me? Racism.
I just did.
Who is in control of racism?
It's like a social construction.
Oh, so for an example, in the black community, they used to be two parents, and the father and mother thought and did for themselves, and then once the civil rights movement started, the parents gave up the men and put the men out. The women took over, and then the so-called civil rights leaders became the thinkers. They told the blacks what to do. Join the Democratic Party, we're gonna be your leaders. So are those black so-called leaders, the civil rights leaders, are they racist because they're controlling the blacks? They keep them poor, but they use them to get the money and the wealth and give it to their friends and may help them. Are they being racist?
What? Yo, dude, like, what are you talking about? like it's a real question.
Is that a definition of racism?
No.
Well, they're controlling the system in the black community. They tell blacks when to think, how to act mad so we can bring in more bills, and they end up with the money. So they're controlling the blacks. They're keeping the blacks here while they're living out in the hall. Are they racist?
Where'd you get this idea? Like,
Well,
did
I'm
you make
asking.
that yourself?
No, are they racist, what I'm asking?
No. Are black
And why are they
activists?
racist?
I said they're not.
Why is it they're not? They're controlling other blacks by keeping them financially in a certain area.
Who said that black social activists are keeping black people in a lower financial area? Like, where did you get
You don't
that?
believe that they are?
No, I mean, I'm a black social activist, and I'm not trying to keep black people at a lower state.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to empower black people
By doing what?
by giving them a voice and letting them be lifted, and like
How is that going to empower them?
to allow them. Okay, for example, I led like the Black Lives Matter march at USC.
Yeah, I want to get to that in 1 minute. But how would what you're doing empower other black people?
Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you this because I'm explaining how it empowers
Okay,
people.
well,
So,
hold that thought for me. I want to ask this first. Do you believe in capitalism?
to an extent, I believe you should have the opportunity to like build for yourself and for your future. At the same time, I don't think like at a certain point of like wealth that should still be like socially like acceptable. Like for example, billionaires, like to acquire $1 billion, there's no person or like lifetime where you'll ever be able to spend or need $1 billion. So I don't think billionaires should exist, like that type of money.
So
When
you
you're-
work hard to get into USC, you got your little degree, you work hard, you think somebody should tell you, once you get X amount of dollars, you need to stop, you're not allowed for that?
If I have $1 billion, I'm never going to reach.
Should they stop you before you get to $1 billion? Let's say you do get to $1 billion.
I'm not going to reach $1 billion because
Why not?
Because I'll never need that much money.
So
Nobody
you
will.
won't, you won't do it?
So
because-
if I'm reaching that much money, at that point, I'm have more money than I'll ever need and that I could ever use.
Right.
Like I could buy, with $1 billion, I could buy several yachts.
Right.
And like just burn them and then get a pile of money and burn that. If I have more money than I'll ever need, then that should be like given to people that are less advantaged. So
Do you have a right to have as much as you want, or should someone be able to tell you, you know, you work too hard, you are making too much money, you better stop now? Do they have a right to tell you that?
I don't think they need to tell me that.
Or do they have a right to tell you that?
They don't need to tell me that because I think as a moral human being, you should understand that if you have, let's say like I have no water and you have gallons of water, you're just gonna sit there and hold your gallons of water even though you'll never be able to finish drinking it and let me sit here with a cup of with no water in it?
Would it be wrong for me to do that?
Yes.
Would it be my fault that you can't get water?
I mean, if you have that much water and I have no water,
Would it be my fault that you can't get water?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's your fault, but if you
If it's not my fault, then why am I wrong for not giving you my water?
because you have the means to,
But why am I wrong for not? You can get your own water. What's wrong with you?
I mean, there's like social constructs preventing me from acquiring
But
water.
nothing in your way from work hard, go get your water. Dig a hole.
This is like the bootstrap mentality.
What do you mean?
That doesn't work.
Oh,
You're saying like if I work hard enough, then I will become a billionaire?
yeah.
Okay, so like,
Are you saying in your affirmation that you won't?
no, what I'm saying is if I was to become a billionaire, I wouldn't keep all that money to myself.
Right, but you have a right to do it if you want to,
But
right?
I wouldn't want to. It's a moral
But you
standard.
do have a right if you want to.
Sure, if you want to keep,
And no one has a right to tell you that you can't.
okay, if you want to keep $1
Do
billion,
anyone have a right to tell you, as hard as you've worked already, do anyone have a right to tell you you shouldn't make $1 billion?
I wouldn't want to make
No,
$1
that's what
billion.
I'm asking. Does anyone have a right to tell you that you don't have hardworking you're a rapper, you got 4.3 average, you graduated from USC, you're a go-getter. Does anyone have a right to tell you you don't have a right to make $1 billion?
I think people have the right to tell me that it is morally unjust for me to have that much money and
But
not.
do they have a right to tell you that you can't do it?
I mean, they can't tell me that I can't do it if I already have it, but I never
No,
will.
do
is
they
what I'm
have a
saying.
right to tell you you're going up the ladder now? Do they have a right to tell you that you can't make $1 billion?
I'm not gonna make $1 billion. That's
I
the
understand
question.
that. You're going to keep it with the black people. But do you have a right? Do they have a right to tell you you can't make $1 billion? That's what I need to know real fast.
It doesn't matter.
I know,
what
but just
people
answer
tell.
that, then we'll get to the
Yeah,
other
they
side.
have a right to tell me that. Sure.
To tell you that you can't do that. You're a hard-working individual. They have a right to tell you no. You
Yeah.
got to stop at this amount.
They have a right to say that. Yes.
How much? At what amount should they stop you?
What do you mean?
At what amount do they have a right to tell you to stop?
They have a right to tell people. To
No, you. At what amount of money do they have a right to tell you stop it?
stop making money.
Yeah, you have too much. You need to stop.
Sure.
How much?
I mean, they can tell me that I need to stop whenever they want.
And they have a right.
Yes.
And would you stop?
I mean, at a point when I feel like I have more than I need,
No, when they tell you to stop, you have more than what you need. Would you stop?
if I feel that I have,
No. If they tell you to stop, you have more money than what you need. Cut it out. Would you stop?
okay, do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, just answer that.
Okay. I would stop if I felt I had more than I needed. And then I would begin my journey of like bringing other people up with me that
But
are
if you don't,
disadvantaged.
if you don't feel like you have more than what you needed, but they do, and they tell you to stop, would you stop?
No, I'd keep going so that I can successfully give back to my community. Because if I don't have enough money to sustain myself, then I'll never be able to uplift the rest of the community.
And you think you can do that with money?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. You don't think you can uplift a community with $1 billion?
Uh-uh.
Why not?
You make them worse. Look at the black people. They've been giving money and free stuff, government programs, and money for 60 years. They have only gotten worse. They haven't gotten better. They're still begging and burning and destroying because they're not building character.
Building character.
Yeah.
So it's about character.
Yeah. You don't think so?
So you're telling me if you have a school in a black community that doesn't have EAOP, like after school programs, like resources to teach kids, like SAT prep and things like that, a school doesn't have the money for those resources. And if I give that school the money for those resources so the kids have all those resources, that's not going to help those kids?
No.
Okay, well, I
Can I
mean,
tell you why?
that's what you think.
Because the teachers, the unions and the heads of the school take the money. They're not going to do it for that.
No, I would put the money in.
But you have to stay there and sleep and watch it overnight because they'll take it.
No,
But
what
let me
I'd
ask
do is
you
I'd
this.
start my own EAOP program. I'd start my own, it would be my own fund. I'd start a scholarship fund. There's ways to like keep the money, get the money into the right hands. And
Let
I'd
me
make
ask
sure
you
that.
this. Do you think a man should ever follow a woman?
You asked me that already.
And what'd you tell me?
I told you that people should be equal.
I asked, I know you think that, but should a man follow a woman?
If she's saying something worth following, yes.
Would you ever follow a woman?
If she was saying something worth following, yes.
Would you listen to a woman?
If she was saying something worth listening to, yes.
Amazing. So you would let a woman be the head of you?
If she was saying something worth listening to, yes.
Okay.
And if I was saying something worth her listening to, then sure, because it's an equal playing field. There shouldn't be one person dominating the other, just based
Amazing.
off gender.
You held a rally at USC, a Black Lives Matter rally, right? What made you hold that rally?
Because I wanted to uplift people in my community and give other people a chance to voice their opinions and be heard.
And that's why you decided to do it? And how did that work out for you?
So I organized the rally and organized speeches, and I was able to get other Black USC students to speak, and they spoke so like profoundly and emotionally that the president of USC was able to hear them and make changes. They made changes to the police department at USC. They took down the names of certain buildings that were named after eugenics leaders, and that's because we used our voices and were heard, and it's because we created that space for us to be heard.
And how is that helping the blacks? In what way is that helping them?
So now, like, we don't have to go into a classroom that is named after eugenics leaders that were, like, specifically organizing our oppression. And we also don't have to feel threatened by, like, the police force at our own campus when we're students there, because this rally that we did brought the police chief out, and he made promises to changing the structure of his police force. So like now we can be comfortable at USC with in our own community.
So
like,
you guys are scared of the police when you see them?
those are the changes.
So when you see the police on campus, it make you afraid?
I mean, depending on like your experiences.
Does it make you afraid?
I'm not afraid, no.
Oh. And do you know that the crime rates are going up in the black community now that you guys stopped the police? Do you care about that? Because the normal black people, they want cops in their community. They want more cops.
What is a normal black person?
One that is not mad at the white man and blaming him for everything. But
That's normal?
Yeah.
What makes that normal?
Let me ask you this.
What makes that normal?
I'll tell you in a minute, but let me ask, because of time,
okay.
do you care that because of that crime rate going up in the black community, their children are being murdered by other black people, they're being killed because now when they call a cop, they're not coming. Does that bother you?
Are you saying that like with defunding the police? Okay, so.
Does that bother you that now it's putting other black people's lives at risk?
No, I don't think you understand what defunding and abolishing the police really means.
It meaning you don't want a police department.
No. That's not what it means.
When the black people, that's what's happening.
No, you don't
so
understand what it
So
means.
does
Okay,
that
where is that
bother you
happening?
now that
Where is
the
that
cop all over here, New York, all over?
There's no police here?
They down. It won't be soon if they can't pay their salary. They won't be around.
You
But
saying
let me
that
train
the
them. But let me
police
ask
have-
you though, does
Did
it
you guys
bother
know the
you?
police have $2 billion in salary, which is like astronomically more than anything else. If they just cut that to 50%, they'd still have like $1 billion more than everything else, and we'd have more money for schools, for housing, like for healthcare, you know.
If
so
if you got married and the father and mother worked and did their own way, would they need the police money to do that for them?
Listen, what I'm saying is you think, right now what you're telling me is you think that defund the police means get rid of the police and there's no police.
Yeah,
so
that's what
I'm
it's
telling
going
you,
to get to.
I'm telling you
if they continue down this road.
not what police abolition
That's what
means.
you just don't realize it, but
No,
that's
I
what
think
it's all about.
You just don't. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
I can like educate you if you like.
Okay.
All right. So basically, like police abolition doesn't mean getting rid of 911 altogether. It means providing an opportunity for things that don't need aggressive police force, like a person you call 911 and they have a gun. For certain, you call 911 for everything, right? For a homeless man sleeping on the street, you call 911. For somebody choking on an apple, you call 911. You call 911 for everything, right? So what it means is instead of having the police control everything and show up for every situation, you have more like community-based organizations. So like instead of 911 for, I don't know, like seeing a kid by themselves, you call like Child Protective Services, or you call this, or you call that.
You call a social worker.
Yeah, or something
And
like that.
that makes sense to you?
You don't have to call 911
Does that make
for
sense
all.
to you though?
Yeah.
It's
Instead
amazing.
of
so let me
having
ask,
the
I want to go
police
back to
control
the
every
question.
situation.
Do you believe in letting all the prisoners out as well? People in prison, the blacks in the prisons and the jails. You believe letting them out as well?
Depends on what they're in there for.
But are you in support of that though?
I'm not. I'm in support of abolishing private prisons, which is like basically slavery. It's like private prisons are rented out. They get prisoners, and then like they rent out the prisoners to go work for free or for like $1 an hour to like put out fires and things like that. And then when they get out of prison, they're not even allowed to become firemen. I think that should be abolished.
Are you in favor of letting prisons out? People, the blacks in prison out?
Depending on what they're in there for. So like if like there's a person in prison for life for having a gram of weed, yeah, they shouldn't be out. They shouldn't be in
How about if
prison.
someone raped someone?
They should be in prison. Yes.
How about a murderer?
Yeah.
But so you just only want the potheads out?
No, anyone that's in prison unjustly shouldn't be in there. And then what I'm saying is I don't think the abolition of, it's the abolition of private prisons. So like, I don't think it should be acceptable for private prisons to rent out human labor for free.
Why not? If you do the crime, you do the time.
Doing the time
when I
doesn't-
was growing up, they had the prisoners on the road, chain gang. They were working the roads.
And you think
build the highway, and we were like, yes.
you think it's fair for them to work for free?
Yeah, because they're doing the time, you have to pay the. If you do the crime, you have to pay the time.
But there's people.
And tough work in prison makes you not want to go back.
But there's people in
Is that
prison.
true?
There's people in prison for reasons that they don't deserve to be in prison for, and they're doing slave labor.
They wouldn't be in prison then. Do you smoke pot?
No.
You don't smoke
But
pot?
it's okay, like if people
You don't
do.
smoke pot?
No,
Why not?
because I mean it doesn't appeal to me.
And why not?
Do I have to have a reason?
Yeah.
Why?
Why is not that it doesn't appear to you?
I don't know. I mean, it just never has.
You never smoked it?
No, I mean, there's no
Amazing.
reason for it.
So let
but
me
like
ask
I'm
one-
saying, I don't say that it's wrong for people to do it. I mean,
Is
and now it's
anything wrong? What do you see as wrong?
things morally wrong.
Like what?
Like some of your opinions.
Like what? My opinion?
Yeah, some of them.
Like what?
Some of them are morally wrong. Like
Like
the fact
what?
that you think slave labor is okay as long as
Yeah,
it's in a prison.
absolutely.
You think
Tough
slave
slave.
labor is
When
okay?
I become president, I'm in acting tough. They going back on the highway. They gonna build roads. And they ain't getting paid. They'll get a meal. That's for water.
So you want to restart? You want to bring
And chain
slavery?
gang, yeah.
Slavery?
Yeah, with chain gang.
You believe in slavery?
Well, slavery was a necessary need at the time.
What? You would have been a slave. You would have been cool with that?
If that's what the time. Did you know that it was the blacks in Africa who sold, the higher class blacks sold the poor blacks to the Arabs, and the Arabs was the one that took the blacks around the world and sold them?
And you
Are
think-
you aware of that?
Yeah, but you think that
Well,
makes
that-
it okay for slavery to exist?
Are those blacks in Africa racist for doing that to the other blacks?
They're morally wrong.
Are they racist?
Racism is a concept created by like Eurocentric beliefs.
What?
I don't think.
What
I
does
think,
that mean?
Did you go to college?
What does that mean?
Eurocentric?
Uh-huh.
It's kind of the concept of centering everything, your understanding of humanity and reality around European beliefs.
Are you saying that, so those blacks who did the same thing and are doing the same thing in Africa are not racist, even though they're doing the same thing as slavery here, you're saying they're not racist for doing it, right? And they
No.
run Africa, but they're not racist.
Okay, I don't think you understand what
Are
the
you
term
saying
racism
they're not
is.
racist? You mean yes or no?
They're
black is
morally
slow.
incorrect people. They're like
But-
people that
So are the white people morally incorrect people here too? That did
Yes.
that? But not racist.
racism is a concept constructed by white people. So it doesn't make sense. Like racism it's a concept that didn't exist until it was created by like Eurocentric beliefs.
Who told you that?
Yo, like I'm just not sure. Did you go to like have formal education?
So you learned this in college?
I mean, you learn this from like college and even like world
Did you
history.
know that
did
before you took college?
you
Went to
take
college?
world history like in high school?
So you learned it in your world history class?
I mean, if you read like books or Google, it's cool.
And so when you were reading books in your high school in world history, they told you about history and then they said, this is racism? They said that to you?
Well,
the
they
teacher?
teach you like a light version of it, and then if you're inclined, you do more research on your own and you learn. It doesn't seem like you.
Did
you
your
do
parents
that?
know that they were teaching you that?
Yeah, I mean, my parents did their best to educate me. I think they did well.
Okay.
Did
So let me
your-
ask you. You never did answer this question. We're running out of time. Now that Black Lives Matter want to defund the police department, more blacks are being robbed, raped, killed, and murdered as a result of that. Does that bother you?
That's not like, where are you getting
The
these
crime gone up
statistics?
in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles as a result of fewer police, prisoners let out of jail, more blacks are being affected by it. Does
Where-
that bother you?
Where are there fewer police?
No, answer that question first because of time.
No, but I can't
Are
answer the
you
question.
bothered
'Cause
by that?
I can't answer the question because there's not fewer police. There's police forces
They're
everywhere.
not hiring as many as they used to now. The mayor of Los
Within the
Angeles cut
past
back on the
few
salary.
weeks?
I mean, on the money. You won't answer that question though. Are you bothered that crime rates are going up and blacks are affected first and foremost? Does that bother you?
That's not true.
I'm asking you, does it bother you? Let's say it is. It is true, but
It's
because
not.
I'm running out of time, I don't have time to play. But does that bother you?
It's not true.
If it was true, would it bother
If
you?
it was true, yeah, but it's not.
Okay. When you find out it's true, will you change it once you find out it was true?
You don't understand what the. I don't know why we're having this conversation because you're not open to like letting me educate you because you don't understand what the abolition of police means. You think it means getting rid of any type of law enforcement, which it doesn't.
Okay.
Like you're just not. You're
Let
not.
me ask
Like,
you, in one of your lines of your rap music, you say, "Look at Karen, man, she want us dead, and use the cops, so she don't have it, so she don't have to do it."
Mm-hmm.
What does Karen mean?
So basically, a form of white supremacy is using your privilege, specifically as a white woman. You can use your privilege to basically hire like an informal hit person to like come, as long as you sound distressed, come and murder a black person because you know the odds are they're gonna take your side over the black person. So like, for example, you've seen like the videos of like a black person minding their business or something, and then like a woman comes up and says, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here," and he says, "No, actually, I live here." And they say, "No, you don't. Like I feel threatened." And then they call the police and say, "This person has a gun," even though he doesn't have a gun and he does live there. But when the police come, who are they gonna believe? The person that was like crying on the phone, or the black person that you said that most black people are like violent and aggressive? So when the person calls, knowing like everyone has this racist idea that black people are violent and aggressive, when the police come, they're gonna be like, "Do you have a gun?" He's gonna say no. He's gonna try to like show that he doesn't have a gun, and then he's gonna get shot. And then the woman that wanted the person dead, even though she knows that he wasn't doing anything wrong,
How
she gets
old are
what she
you?
wants. I'm 20. I said that already. I'm
What did you
22.
tell me? I forgot.
In the beginning, 22.
22.
Mm-hmm.
Is the word Karen, is that a slur against white women?
No, it's a name.
It's the same as the N-word? Does it have the same meaning though that an N-word would have if someone called you that?
No.
So Karen is not a slang?
Karen is a common name that white women are given.
But it's not a slur.
No.
So a lot of white women are named Karen?
Yeah.
Amazing. So
I had a professor named Karen.
What?
I know several Karens, yeah.
do you believe, in your song you said white women want black men dead. Is that true?
The ones that call and say that a black man is holding a gun and they feel threatened even though the person doesn't have a gun and they know the police will come, assume the person has a gun, and potentially kill that person, yes.
You also say F the police in that song. You believe that?
Yes. Yeah.
And what made you say F the police?
I mean, we just had a whole conversation about
So
it.
you just say they're against the blacks?
Sure.
Do you want
I think,
cops
did
to-
you know where the police started? Like what police originated from?
What?
Slave patrol. Did you know that?
No.
You didn't know that?
Who told you that? They told you that in school?
No, it's common history.
Oh, okay.
American history, yeah.
Do
I think
want-
you should like look into that.
Do you want
Have you learned about that?
responding to 911 to stop?
Depends. I already answered that.
Do you want them to stop though?
Calling 911.
Yeah.
I think 911 should be for specific situations, and they should be allocated to different. Depending on the situation, it should be allocated to different resources. I already answered that. But
So
what
let
I
me
was
ask,
saying is
do you
that
appreciate the risk that police officers take?
sure,
Do Blue Lives Matter?
Blue Lives Matter is an oppressive opposition of Black Lives Matter. It's like all lives matter. You think all lives matter, right?
Yes.
But you don't think Black Lives Matter?
That doesn't include all lives.
It does.
So-
So if I say Black Lives Matter, you agree with me?
Personally, I think that it's just
You
a
ag-
saying that has no meaning.
So if
Because black lives don't really matter, and you can see it in the way black people treat one another and others.
is this how it always goes?
So let me ask,
No, but so you do think Black Lives Matter? If you think all lives matter,
all
right?
lives matter, yes.
So you agree Black Lives Matter?
All lives.
All lives. So
Yeah.
So you agree? So Black lives are a life, right?
What?
Black lives. That's a life. So
I
if-
think that black lives only matters when it matters to the parents and to the children of the parents. If it don't matter to them, then it doesn't matter.
so if my parents didn't care about me, then you don't care about me.
You would not have mattered.
I mean,
but
I
I would
mattered to
care
you.
about you enough to tell you the truth to get you back on course.
To tell me that I don't matter. That
I
would get me
wouldn't
on
tell
course?
you that. I wouldn't tell you that it's a white man's fault. Do you love white people?
White people. Yeah, I love all people as long as they love. They
How about white
put love
people?
yeah,
You love white people?
I love white people that are good people. I don't like specifically hate any type of person as long as they're good people and care about others. Like for example, I just want to get back to like that you're not able to say that Black Lives Matter. Like I just want you to say it because if
Say
you
what?
think all lives matter, you said that.
It only matters to the parents and the children. To anybody else, it doesn't matter.
So you don't think all lives matter.
I do think, but not.
You do
I mean,
think
it's
all
up to
lives
the person. I'm not concerned. It's not going to affect me if someone else decides that they don't want to take care of themselves.
No, but I'm saying you think all lives matter.
Yes.
And a black life is included in all those lives. So you think Black Lives Matter.
I don't need to say Black Lives Matter. When I say all, I mean all.
So you're including black people.
But I know that black lives doesn't matter to black people.
So you're including black people when you say all lives matter?
Yes.
So that means when I say Black
Listen
Lives
to-
Matter, you agree because you think
all
all lives
lives
matter.
matter. But let
So
me ask
that's
you this.
including black people.
Do you think
I
white
don't
lives
think you
matter?
understand what you're saying.
Do you think white lives matter?
Sure.
You sure?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, white lives matter.
So let me ask you this. I got to ask that you never answered. You would follow a woman, right?
Yeah. If they have something worth that I think is worth following, then yes, I will follow a woman.
Should women lead men?
I answered this like
You
3
believe
times.
women should lead men? I'm
If they
leading
have
to some with
something,
this.
if they have something worth leading and worth following, then yes.
Were women created to lead or to follow?
Women weren't created to do either. People are people. So like, if you have something worth listening to, which I don't think you really do, then I would follow you. But since you don't, then I won't follow you. But if a woman has something more worth believing and following, then I'll follow them. And I know plenty of women who do. And then if there's a man who has something worth following, then I'll follow that man as well. And if I have something worth following and somebody
Do you
wants
plan to get married one day?
Sure.
Would you follow your wife?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'd have a mutual connection.
I want to ask you about this Chinese virus thing. I noticed
Yo, did you call it a Chinese virus?
Right.
It's not a Chinese virus.
It's from China.
It's coronavirus.
No, it's from China. It's a Chinese virus.
It's a coronavirus. Okay, whatever. Continue.
Do you think it's fair that innocent citizens are made to wear masks while the radical protesters are going out without masks?
They do
Dancing
wear
in the
masks.
street? Huh?
They do wear masks.
No, they don't. I've seen
do.
them with no mask
Have
on.
you gone to protests?
I've seen them. I haven't done yet, but I've
So
seen
I
them.
actually organized one, and I wore a mask, and
But
so did
is
everyone
that
else.
fair, though? Real fast. Did you know that Black Lives Matter is an organization that was founded by some fat, black, radical lesbians who hate God, who hate the nuclear family, who hate unborn children, who want a socialist society? Did you know they were founded by a bunch of fat, black, radical lesbians?
That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. That's great.
You knew that?
Dude, I'm like all in. I think that's incredible.
Wow. Do your father know you think that way?
Yeah,
Does he know that?
sure.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, you don't like lesbians? You don't like- do you like black
Do you
people?
agree with homosexuality?
Sure,
Is that normal?
sure.
Do you support abortion?
I mean, I support a woman's right to do what they want with their body.
If you got a woman pregnant, you would be okay with her killing your child?
If it was her, it's her decision. Like,
You
it's
would
in
be
her
okay
body.
with it?
Yeah, it's her decision. It's
I
in her
need
body.
you. I gotta put you on the hot seat because we're out of time, and I need you to answer these questions as quickly as possible. All right? Okay.
The Hot Seat.
Will you celebrate Men's History Month with me? August is Men's History Month. Will you celebrate that?
No,
Will you celebrate White History Month? July is White History Month.
no,
Do the lives of unborn black babies matter?
yes,
In your opinion, are most rappers beta males or alpha males?
what does that even mean?
You don't know what a beta male is?
You're saying, like, are most rappers dominant or not dominant?
In your opinion, are most rappers beta males or alpha males?
That question doesn't make sense, so I'm just gonna skip.
You believe black trans matter, right?
Yes,
Do straight white Christian male lives matter?
no,
No? Are you okay with transgender dominated women's sports?
yeah,
I'm sorry?
yeah.
If black people are offended by the N-word, why do they say it all the time?
Because they have a right.
What?
Because they have a right to.
Do you support the right to bear arms?
Sure,
Uh,
if it's
is, it,
necessary.
is it racist for white people to celebrate their heritage?
No.
Is it good that black people are always late?
You think black people are always late?
Is it good that black people are always late?
Are they?
Is
I
it,
showed up on time.
You-
Actually, I showed up early.
that's
I'm
because
black.
you have white in you. That's your white side.
Yo, I'm black as the back of the moon. Are you gonna fist pound me for that?
Is
Anyway,
it-
I showed up on time and I'm black, so I think that question is
But
wrong.
you're part white. Your
we can
white side
continue.
so showed up.
My white
It-
side decided to show up.
Is it possible to have perfect peace?
Do you have white in you?
No. Oh yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
All
Is
right.
it possible
Because you were
to
kind of
have-
late.
Is it possible to
I
have
was in the
perfect?
waiting room at the time when we were supposed to start.
Right.
So the white in you just didn't really
Yeah,
work
my
out.
black side. Is it
But
possible
my
to
black
have
side-
perfect peace?
Perfect peace? I think peace is a balance. So without disruption, then you can't understand what peace is.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, man. Thanks for taking the hot seat. Anything you want to promote?
Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, respect women, and yeah,
How about white straight men lying?
no,
It doesn't matter.
I'm not worried about that. Doesn't need promotion.
Do you support the Great White Hope?
Trans Lives Matter, appreciate black women, respect black women, respect LGBTQ rights, Black Lives Matter, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. If you think all lives matter, then that means you agree Black Lives Matter, so you should stop counter-protesting it. And I got an album coming out September 16th.
What's the title of it?
It's titled Made in Flight.
What?
Made in Flight.
Made in Flight. Do you support the Great White Hope?
No,
Why not?
because it sounds ridiculous.
You know who he is?
No.
President Trump.
You call him the Great White Hope?
Yeah.
No, I don't support Trump. I think he's a racist and a bigot.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you for coming. And thank you all for tuning in. I know we went over a little bit. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, ring the bell, tweet, and support our merch. All right? I absolutely appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, man. That was amazing.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Next time on The Fallen State.
So you grew up in South Central LA?
Yes, I did. You cannot go down the street without seeing homeless people, homeless encampments, and trash all over the place. No job, poor schools, lack of economic development. If Maxine Waters is so great, why are these people living like this, but she's rich?
She's on such an ego trip.
We're at the point now where she has people stalking the office. She's stalking our people that are putting up our signs.
Do black people realize that the less government in their life, the better off they are?
Absolutely not.
And will you be talking to them about that?
No.
Why not?
All they know is the government gives us this, the government gives us that. And so I can talk to them about government all day, but a lot of black people are visual, hands-on learners, so I have to bring them in, I have to show them.
Should we defund the police?
Heck no.
He's running against the Wicked Witch of the West with the low IQ, Maxine Waters, Joe Collins, for California's 43rd district. Thanks for watching The Fallen State. We need your continued support. Donate to my nonprofit here. Subscribe and like the videos here. And tell everybody and their mama about the show.
Are the glasses fine?
Do you see without them?
Nah. I mean, but I can,
Yeah, if you can take them off, that's
it's
better.
fuzzy, yeah, but it's all good.
It's fuzzy?
I mean, it's like not that bad.
What color am I?
You're still black.
How many kids you have?
Oh, no kids.
Oh, you don't? I
said
thought all
kids?
black guys had kids.
I mean, I'm not trying to have kids for a cool minute.
There you go.